Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh, and this is your JIS News for Wednesday, August 16, 2023. The country's unemployment rate fell to a new record low of 4.5% in April this year. The updated figure was released by the Statistical Institute of Jamaica, Statin, in its labor force survey for the period. Director General of Statin, Carol Coy, reports that the number of unemployed persons in April this year was 61,300. That represents a reduction of 19,700 or 24.3% when compared to the corresponding period in 2022.
This was influenced by the fall in the number of unemployed females. The unemployment rate moved down for both males and females. The male unemployment rate was 3.4%, while the unemployment rate for females was 5.7%.
Ms. Coy was addressing Statin's quarterly digital media briefing on Tuesday. She also disclosed that the number of unemployed youth, those aged 14 to 24 years, was 24,600, a decrease of 68,000 or 21.7%.
Similar to the other labor market indicators, the youth unemployment rate was influenced by the decline in female unemployment.
Employed Jamaicans increased by 43,300 to over 1.3 million. The largest increase in the employed labor force by occupation group was in service workers and shop and market sales workers. With the start of the new school year just 2 weeks away, the Ministry of Education and Youth is reminding principals and school boards of strategies to retain teachers. Portfolio Minister Fable Williams gave the update earlier today at the post-cabinet press briefing. Addressing the matter of teacher resignation, she says 427 teachers have formally resigned during the period January to September this year. Minister Williams says this is a much better position when compared to the 1,538 resignations received for the same period in 2022. She, however, stresses that the gap needs to be filled, and principals and school boards are being urged to utilize any of the over 20 strategies put forward. Among them are the pre-approved permission for early recruitment and the ability to engage teachers who are on approved vacation leave.
That is, they can work in the system as teachers and get paid for that in addition to being paid for their vacation leave. What is good about this as well is that teachers can teach at other schools. They don't have to teach in the schools in which to which they are, attached. They can do it in other schools. Principals as well, who are going off on their long leave, can be retained as well, but not as principal. They can teach in their school, of which they are a principal, or they can teach in another school. So that's available to them.
Schools may also seek approval to extend the services of teachers who are scheduled to retire in the upcoming academic year. They may also engage pre-trained teachers with a first degree as well as final year teaching students. Other strategies to retain teachers include engaging underutilized staff, merging of small classes, increasing the use of ICT in classrooms, and applying voluntary relocation of teachers in overstaffed schools. In addition, Minister Williams says 88 student teachers are expected to graduate and become available for the new school year. A $50 million agreement was signed today between the Ministries of Health and Labor for the implementation of the New Limb, New Life program. The signing took place at this morning's post-cabinet press briefing at Jamaica House. It will benefit approximately 200 persons who have lost limbs. They are to receive grants of $250,000 as a subsidy to purchase a prosthetic device through the existing Compassionate Fund program. Under the agreement, the Jamaica Council for Persons with Disabilities, JCPD, will identify the beneficiaries, conduct vulnerability assessments, and maintain accurate records and documentation of beneficiaries. In addition to the distribution of grants, the Ministry of Health will monitor the progress and outcome of the program, ensure full transparency and accountability, and manage financial records. Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton says close to 90% of people who lose a limb do so as a result of a medical condition, particularly diabetes, and not due to trauma. He says they must be given a second chance to reintegrate into society.
Help them to become more economically viable because they would have now been restricted by a loss of a limb. Give them a sense of hope, but also, very importantly, highlighting the consequences of lifestyle diseases, the consequences of diabetes, and in some instances even using some of these persons who volunteer as testimonials to enhance a more health-seeking posture by the population generally.
Jamaicans are being reminded to store food at the appropriate temperatures to prevent spoilage as well as illnesses that could result from persons consuming items gone bad. This warning from the Scientific Research Council, SRC, comes against the background of the heightened atmospheric temperatures currently being experienced.
Higher temperatures actually put our food in what is known as the danger zone. We all need to be concerned about keeping food at the proper temperature so that it is going to be safe to eat.
Mrs. Aiken-Min points out that the danger zone ranges between 5 and 60 degrees Celsius, which creates the environment for organisms such as bacteria and mold to grow, which poses a threat to food safety. She further emphasizes that bacteria grows quickly, and the rule of thumb is we should keep hot foods hot and cold foods cold.
And also not putting hot food directly into the refrigerator, because that can cause the temperature in the refrigerator to drop and threaten the safety of everything else that's being stored in there.
Mrs. Aiken-Min is also urging persons to avoid keeping raw foods in cars for prolonged periods and, where necessary and possible, use ice packs inside lunch bags to maintain the optimal storage temperature. And finally, the Ministry of Agriculture is reporting that youth farmers currently occupy more than 24% of the land in agro-parks, exceeding the ministry's target of 20%. Agro-parks represent an important part of the government's economic development agenda, particularly in terms of foreign currency gains and savings. As a result, Portfolio Minister Floyd Green says the ministry is in talks with private sector partners to provide additional assistance to young farmers who have access to government lands through agro-parks.
We don't want them just to come and get the land and then still have difficulty setting up their agro-enterprise. So we're going to be working through the ministry, through RADA and through private sector to provide land preparation free of cost for young people who come into our agro-parks.
The minister was speaking at the recent Denby Agricultural, Industrial and Food Show held at the Denby Showground in Clarendon. He added that the ministry would also collaborate with the Jamaica 4-H clubs to find and support more successful young farmers across the island. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.